Hello everyone, we are honored to have here with us Professor Matthew Broome. Professor Broome is a psychiatrist, professor of psychiatry and youth mental health and director of the Institute for Mental Health at the University of Birmingham. He is a leader in the field of early psychosis and in the philosophy and ethics of mental health, topics on which he published numerous articles. Thank you for accepting our invite and our proposal. I have some questions about your research topic. Professor, as a researcher, you have focused a lot on youth mental health. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most important challenges of global research in mental health. Why is this topic so crucial, so important?
Well, thank you for inviting me. Very kind of you. I suppose there are two main reasons why I think it's important. So one is, I guess, the data suggests that most adult mental health problems begin in the youth phase. So most disorders begin by the age of 14 or by 25. So working with people when they're young may prevent long-term illness, may support them throughout their life. So that's one important reason, so early detection and prevention. The second important reason is because rates of poor mental health in young people are increasing. So there seems to be evidence that there's marked increasing rates of particularly internalising disorders in young women, so anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and sadly self-harm. So yes, two reasons really, both because there's increasing need now, but also helping now might help the future.
Okay, surely early intervention has better outcomes not only for developmental course, long-term way, but also, I think, economically for healthcare services.
Yeah.
Okay. Which role could phenomenology have in this research area?
So I think one of the challenges we have sometimes is getting the diagnosis right, identifying people who need help quickly and efficiently. And young people are particularly complex, I would say, because in that age, comorbidity is the norm. People tend not to have one diagnosis, people have multiple diagnoses. And the young person, as well as having mental health problems, that's occurring in the context of normal development and the life events of perhaps moving away from home, first job, university, first serious relationship. So there's a lot of complexity in young people. And I think phenomenology is the subject area which deals with subjectivity and first-person understanding. So I think it can give us tools to help find out that complexity in young people. I think also importantly, it's a tool to help co-production and young people get a voice and a say in both their treatment and how we design services. So it can be quite powerful in terms of ethics and politics of healthcare.
Okay, so phenomenology could help in the interdisciplinary dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
According to you, which path and which research lines are the most fruitful today in a long-term way?
It's difficult to know. I think one of the areas that interests me is having a more personalised way of predicting things. I think psychiatry is still very broad brush, so we offer standard treatments to populations of people, and I think a more fine-grained understanding of who will benefit from certain treatments and when those will be needed is really important, and how we titrate or stratify our treatments. So I think prediction psychiatry is quite exciting, and I think although there may be biological or statistical ways of prediction, I think phenomenology might be part of that as well. I think there's different ways of doing that. I think that's really important. I think there's wider interest in thinking about this kind of complexity issue, so particularly thinking about how neurodiversity and neurodivergence can lead to increased mental health needs, and how we maybe think about changing or adapting treatments to people from different groups, whether that's different social, ethnic groups, but also people from more neurodivergent backgrounds as well. So I think we need a bit more specificity in some of our treatments, I think.
Okay, the last question. As you said before, mental health problems is increasing in young people.
Yeah.
What are the major reason according to you today?
It's hard. It's a really difficult question, but I think it's a very important question. So we don't fully know the answer. A lot of young people will talk about the future and how they've experienced their life. So young people will mention climate change, existential threat, the worries about what the world will become. They will speak about economic uncertainty, the fact their parents may have experienced poverty or economic difficulties. So there can be a lack of what I sometimes think of social contract. Why should I work? Why should I study? There's no point. So I think these global trends, and colleagues like Pat McGorry, an Australian psychiatrist and youth mental health expert, will talk about some global trends that affect youth mental health. There are also some very real things that young people may have experienced: genuine poverty, traumatic experiences in early life as well that can lead to these issues. Obviously drug misuse sometimes in young people, with increasing cannabis use in the UK, certainly with teenagers. People sometimes blame social media. That's less clear-cut. So for some, social media can be very beneficial. It can be a source of information. It can be a source of peer support. But for some vulnerable people, it can make life more difficult. So that's a slightly complex one. So a variety of features, I think. But I think genuinely the rates are increasing, and as I say, particularly for young women, and particularly in these kind of disorders around anxiety, depression, self-harm, and eating behaviours, which is very worrying.
Okay. Thank you, Professor, for your time.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have you again with us with another conversation. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.